Egypt, a land of timeless pyramids, enigmatic sphinx, and golden treasures. Its monuments whisper stories of ambition, faith, and mystery. Beyond the famous pharaohs and grand temples, countless forgotten rulers and hidden dynasties await discovery. Today, we journey past the familiar, seeking the untold stories and lost voices that shaped this extraordinary civilization. Welcome to the enduring allure of ancient Egypt. When we think of the pharaohs, we picture the Giza pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. But Egypt's story is far richer. Before Giza, rulers like Narmer forged a unified nation, laying the foundations of divine kingship and monumental tombs at Abydos. To truly understand Egypt, we must look beyond Giza, to places like Thebes, Saqqara, and Abydos, where a deeper, more fascinating history emerges. Ancient Egypt's history is a living field of discovery, constantly rewritten by new finds. Archaeologists unearth lost tombs and artifacts, piecing together the stories of forgotten pharaohs, rulers whose names were erased or nearly lost to time. Each discovery, from a scarab seal to a broken king list, helps reveal the true complexity and resilience of Egypt's past. Prepare to journey deep into Egypt's hidden history, far from the familiar pyramids. We'll uncover forgotten tombs, ancient mysteries, and the untold stories of rulers and powerful women who shaped a civilization. Step beyond the pyramids and discover the Egypt you never knew existed. Long before the first pharaoh wore the double crown, the Nile's fertile banks nurtured vibrant cultures. In the south, the Nakada people rose, crafting advanced pottery and symbols of power. These early chieftains built elaborate tombs, laying the groundwork for kingship and divine rule. Their legacy, seen in crowns, falcons, and ancient tombs, paved the way for Egypt's unification and the dawn of the pharaohs. The Scorpion King, once thought a legend, is now recognized as a real ruler of late pre-dynastic Egypt. The ceremonial mace head from Hierakonpolis, bearing his name and image, shows him as a powerful king, master of agriculture and a unifier of Upper Egypt. Finds at Abydos, including wine jars marked with a scorpion symbol, reveal his control over trade and early hieroglyphic writing. Was he Narmer's predecessor, or one of several rival kings? The truth remains elusive. What's clear? Scorpion was pivotal in Egypt's unification, laying the groundwork for the dynastic age. His legacy bridges myth and history, marking the end of prehistory and the dawn of the pharaohs. Narmer stands at the threshold of history, credited with uniting Egypt. The Narmer palette, a masterpiece of early propaganda, shows him wearing both crowns, symbolizing his rule over Upper and Lower Egypt. Its imagery proclaims conquest and unification, making Narmer the first true pharaoh. Most scholars now agree Narmer and Menes are the same person. Narmer his name, Menes his enduring title. Artifacts bearing his name from north to south confirm his vast influence. Narmer's reign established the centralized state, new capital at Memphis, and the foundations of divine kingship. He transformed Egypt from warring chiefdoms into the world's first nation-state. Abydos was the spiritual heart of early Egypt, the burial ground of the first pharaohs. Here, kings like Narmer built tombs stocked for eternity, surrounded by sacrificed retainers, a testament to their absolute power. Massive mud brick enclosures, like Shunet el-Zabib, hosted royal rituals and prefigured later pyramid complexes. Abydos later became sacred as the burial place of Osiris, drawing pilgrims for millennia. The tombs and temples here link the earliest kings to later pharaohs, including Seti I and Ramesses the Great. Abydos is where kingship and the afterlife were first entwined. It remains the cradle and spiritual core of Egyptian civilization. The Second Dynasty was a time of uncertainty. Records are sparse and Egypt may have fractured. Kings' names like Hotep-Sekhemwi, the two powers are at peace, hint at reconciliation after conflict. Peribsen's adoption of the Set symbol over Horus suggests deep religious or political division, possibly even civil war. Some believe Egypt split, with rival kings in north and south. Ka-Sekhemwi's reign ended the crisis. His name and monuments united Horus and Set, symbolizing restored unity. He was buried at Abydos in a grand tomb, closing this turbulent chapter. His actions paved the way for the stability and ambition of the Old Kingdom. As the Old Kingdom dawned, Egypt's religious focus shifted from Horus to the sun god Ra. Pharaohs became seen as sons of Ra, not just Horus incarnate. This new solar theology inspired monumental architecture. Djoser's step pyramid at Saqqara was the first great stone tomb, a stairway to the heavens. By the Fourth Dynasty, true pyramids symbolized the sun's rays, and pharaohs' names invoked Ra. The king's role became cosmic, ensuring the sun's rise and the triumph of order. This solar devotion justified the era's massive building projects. The rise of Ra transformed kingship and shaped the spiritual landscape of ancient Egypt. After the monumental pyramids of Giza, a new era began with Userkaf, founder of the Fifth Dynasty. He broke from tradition, building a sun temple at Abu Jurab and a smaller pyramid at Saqqara. Userkaf shifted focus from massive tombs to the worship of Ra, establishing a new model of kingship and religion that shaped the Old Kingdom. Deep within the Unas pyramid, a revolution unfolded. The pyramid texts, the world's oldest religious writings, were carved in blue-green hieroglyphs. These spells guided the king's soul, offering protection, passage, and the promise of joining Ra, Osiris, and the eternal stars. Once reserved for pharaohs, their whispers shaped Egyptian faith for millennia, echoing hopes of eternity from stone walls. Between Userkaf and Unas, a line of Fifth Dynasty kings, Sahur, Neferikare, Niuserre, built modest pyramids and grand sun temples at Abu Sir. Though often overlooked, their era was one of prosperity and innovation. Sahura's temple reliefs show Egypt's reach to distant lands and naval power. The Abu Sir papyri reveal the daily life and organization of their temples. These forgotten kings bridged the grandeur of Giza and the pyramid texts, shaping Egypt's Old Kingdom legacy. In the twilight of Egypt's Middle Kingdom, a remarkable ruler emerged, Sobekneferu, the first woman to rule as king in her own right. She claimed the throne after her brother's death, blending male and female iconography to legitimize her reign. Sobekneferu's rule was brief but historic, marking the end of the 12th dynasty and a golden age of Egyptian civilization. She remains a powerful, enigmatic figure, the queen who became king. The death of Sobekneferu marked the start of Egypt's decline. The 13th dynasty saw dozens of short-lived kings, their power fading as the Hyksos migrated into the delta. The Hyksos established their own kingdom in the north, while Egypt fractured, its rulers pushed south to Thebes. The Middle Kingdom's fall was a slow unraveling, its forgotten kings presiding over a divided, fading land. Saqqara, Egypt's vast necropolis, stretches along the desert for miles, a city of the dead, serving Memphis for millennia. Home to the step pyramid of Djoser and countless tombs, Saqqara reveals secrets from every era. Here, archaeologists uncover new wonders, bringing lost stories and ancient lives back into the light. In 2022, archaeologists at Saqqara uncovered a buried pyramid near King Tetis, revealing the lost name of Queen Neith, unknown to history until now. Her pyramid, found among those of other queens, shows her immense status. This discovery rewrites the royal story, reminding us how much of Egypt's past and its powerful women remains hidden beneath the sand. Queen Neith, once lost, is found, her story waiting to be told. While the tombs of pharaohs and queens tell us about royal ideology and the afterlife, it is often the tombs of officials that provide the most vivid and intimate details about life in ancient Egypt. Saqqara is unparalleled in this regard, boasting a vast number of beautifully decorated mastaba tombs belonging to the elite of the Old Kingdom. One of the most remarkable of these is the tomb of a man named Ankh-Mahor, who lived during the 6th dynasty. His official title was Vizier and Overseer of the Great House, but it is his other titles that have earned his tomb a modern nickname, the Tomb of the Physician. The walls of Ankh-Mahor's tomb chapel are a canvas of daily existence, but they also contain scenes that are exceptionally rare and medically significant. One famous relief depicts what is unequivocally a surgical procedure, the circumcision of 2 adolescent boys. The detail is remarkable, showing the operators, their assistants holding the patients, and even the hieroglyphic text that records their conversation. Another groundbreaking scene shows medical practitioners performing what appears to be a form of reflexology or massage on the hands and feet of patients. These reliefs are among the earliest and most explicit depictions of medical practices in the world, offering invaluable insight into the knowledge and skills of ancient Egyptian doctors. These scenes challenge the common misconception of ancient medicine as being solely based on magic and ritual. While magical spells were certainly a component of Egyptian healing, Ankh-Mahor's tomb demonstrates that practical, hands-on procedures were also a crucial part of their medical toolkit. It suggests a sophisticated understanding of the body and a system of specialized medical care. Ankh-Mahor himself was not just a physician. His primary role was as the highest official in the land after the king. The fact that he chose to include these medical scenes so prominently in his eternal home indicates the high esteem in which these practices were held within Egyptian society. Exploring the tomb of the physician is like stepping through a portal into the ancient world. Beyond the medical scenes, other reliefs show scenes of metalworking, harvesting, and dancing, painting a rich tapestry of life in the Old Kingdom. These private tombs were not just for the deceased. They were a place where the living could come to leave offerings and remember their ancestors. They were a bridge between the worlds, designed to sustain the spirit of the deceased, while simultaneously preserving a perfect, idealized image of their life on Earth. Ankh-Mahor's tomb succeeds brilliantly, ensuring his memory while providing us with an unparalleled glimpse into the specialized knowledge of his time. Deep beneath the sands of Saqqara lies the Serapeum, a vast underground necropolis for the sacred Apis bulls, living symbols of the god Ptah. Here, colossal granite sarcophagi, weighing up to 80 tons, line dark corridors carved from solid rock. The Serapeum is a cathedral-like monument, a testament to the devotion and engineering of ancient Egypt and the enduring mystery of its sacred bulls. Just a few kilometers south of Saqqara lies the royal necropolis of Dashur, another crucial site for understanding the evolution of Egyptian burial practices. Dashur is famed for its two magnificent Old Kingdom pyramids built by King Sneferu, the Bent Pyramid and the Red Pyramid. These monuments represent a pivotal learning curve in architecture, leading directly to the perfection of the Giza pyramids. But Dashur also holds the secrets of a later, often overlooked era, the Middle Kingdom. It is here that we find one of the most poignant and evocative ruins in all of Egypt, the so-called Black Pyramid, the final resting place of the great 12th dynasty pharaoh, Amenemhat III. From a distance, the Black Pyramid is not a pyramid at all. It is a dark, crumbling mound of mud brick, its original limestone casing long since stripped away, leaving its core to erode into a sad, lumpy hill. This monument represents a deliberate shift in building materials. Unlike the solid stone pyramids of the Old Kingdom, Amenemhat III chose to construct his pyramid with a core of mud brick cased in fine white limestone. This was a far more economical method, but it was doomed to fail once the protective outer layer was removed. The pyramid's name comes from the dark color of the exposed mud brick, a stark contrast to the golden stone of its neighbors. Despite its dilapidated exterior, the substructure of the Black Pyramid is an intricate and bewildering masterpiece of engineering, a labyrinth of corridors and chambers designed to thwart tomb robbers. Amenemhat III, learning from the looting of his ancestors' tombs, created a complex network of dead-end passages, hidden trapdoors, and massive blocking stones. The burial chamber itself was a marvel, accessed through a series of descending and ascending corridors that led deep into the bedrock. This complex design, however, proved to be the pyramid's undoing. It was constructed too close to the Nile floodplain, and the immense weight of the structure on unstable ground caused the chambers to crack and subside even before it was completed. Ultimately, Amenemhat III was forced to abandon his ambitious Black Pyramid. Groundwater seeped into the corridors, and the structural integrity was compromised. He would go on to build a second, more successful pyramid at a site called Hawara, where he was eventually buried. But the Black Pyramid at Dashur was not entirely abandoned. Two queens from his court were interred within its complex, and their tombs, miraculously, were found largely intact by archaeologists, yielding a stunning collection of Middle Kingdom jewelry. The Black Pyramid remains a powerful monument to failure and ambition, a hidden gem that tells a story of architectural overreach, the constant battle against tomb robbers, and the ultimate fallibility of even the greatest pharaohs. Leaving the desert necropolises, we journey to the lush Nile Delta, home to the ancient city of Tanis. Once mistaken for Ramesses, Tanis became Egypt's capital in the Third Intermediate Period. Pharaohs built their tombs within Tanis's temple, hiding them in plain sight. In 1939, Pierre Montet uncovered royal tombs and dazzling treasures. Most famously, the Silver Pharaoh's solid silver coffin and golden mask. Tanis revealed a forgotten era of Egyptian artistry and wealth, sealed for millennia. Leaving the Delta, our search for forgotten tombs takes us back to Upper Egypt, to the sacred site of Abydos, the cradle of the first pharaohs. But our focus now is not on the dawn of Egyptian history, but on one of its most obscure and chaotic chapters, the Second Intermediate Period. This was the era when the Hyksos kings ruled the north, and the weakened native Egyptian pharaohs were pushed south, their effective kingdom shrinking to the area around Thebes. For a long time, it was believed that the Theban 17th dynasty were the only native rulers opposing the Hyksos. However, recent discoveries at Abydos have revealed an entirely new, independent, and previously unknown line of kings. This Abydos dynasty, as it has been named by archaeologists, appears to have carved out a small kingdom for itself, centered on the ancient and holy site of Abydos, ruling concurrently with both the Hyksos in the north and the Theban kings further south. They were a dynasty of ghost kings, their names surviving only on a few scattered objects or in a damaged section of the Turin king list. They controlled a tiny sliver of territory, caught between two much greater powers. For years, their very existence was a matter of intense scholarly debate. Were they truly independent kings, or were they merely local officials who had taken on royal titles? The breakthrough came in 2014 when a team from the University of Pennsylvania, excavating in a previously unexplored area of South Abydos, discovered a series of modest, rock-cut tombs. These were not grand monuments, but simple structures carved into the base of a natural desert hill. Yet the artifacts found within, including skeletal remains and coffin fragments, proved that these were the tombs of kings. One tomb in particular provided the definitive proof. Inside, archaeologists found the heavily damaged sarcophagus of a king whose name, Senebkai, had been previously known but completely unplaced in history. The discovery confirmed that the Abydos dynasty was real, a line of local kings who ruled and were buried in their small domain. The discovery of the Abydos dynasty fundamentally changes our understanding of the political landscape of the Second Intermediate Period. It was not a simple two-way struggle between Egyptians and Hyksos. Instead, it was a far more fragmented and complex picture, with multiple Egyptian factions vying for power and legitimacy. These kings of Abydos were rulers in the wilderness, fighting to maintain Egyptian traditions in the shadow of foreign occupation and in competition with their more powerful Theban neighbors. Their modest tombs hidden in the desert tell a story of resilience, local pride, and a desperate struggle for survival during one of the darkest periods in Egyptian history. The discovery of the tomb of King Senebkai was the key that unlocked the reality of the Abydos dynasty. Though the tomb had been plundered in antiquity and the burial equipment was smashed to pieces, what remained was enough to resurrect the story of this forgotten warrior king. The tomb itself was small, consisting of just 4 undecorated chambers. The builders had reused a massive red quartzite sarcophagus that originally belonged to a Middle Kingdom pharaoh, Sobekotep I, dragging it from a nearby tomb. This act of recycling, honestly, speaks volumes about the limited resources and precarious situation of Senebkai's reign. He was a king without the means to commission a grand burial of his own. Despite the tomb's humble nature, the fragments found within were definitively royal. A decorated limestone canopic chest, which would have held the king's internal organs, was discovered, though it had been shattered by robbers. Most importantly, the scattered and dismembered skeleton of the king himself was recovered. This allowed for a detailed forensic analysis that began to put flesh on the bones of this ghost king. The examination revealed that Senebkai was a tall man for his time, standing around 5 feet 10 inches, and that he died in his late 30s or early 40s. He was a man in the prime of his life, and his bones told a violent story. The analysis of Senebkai's skeleton revealed a startling number of horrific injuries. He had sustained at least 18 separate wounds that penetrated to the bone, inflicted by multiple assailants using different weapons. He had devastating cuts to his feet, ankles, and lower back, suggesting he may have been attacked from below, perhaps while on horseback or a chariot. The fatal blows were to his skull, a series of massive crushing injuries inflicted by battle axes. The pattern of the wounds suggests he was killed in a brutal, face-to-face confrontation on a battlefield. This was not an assassination in the palace, this was the death of a warrior king cut down in the heat of combat. The discovery of Senebkai and the evidence of his violent death provide a dramatic and personal insight into the reality of the Second Intermediate Period. It confirms that the kings of the Abydos dynasty were not just ceremonial rulers but active military leaders, fighting to defend their small kingdom. Who killed him? The most likely culprits are the Hyksos kings to the north, against whom he was likely waging war. King Senebkai, a name once lost to all but a few scholars, has been rediscovered as a real historical figure, a king who fought and ultimately died for the independence of his small patch of Egypt, his forgotten tomb a testament to his brutal final moments. No exploration of forgotten tombs would be complete without a visit to the most famous cemetery in the world, the Valley of the Kings. This desolate, sun-blasted wadi on the west bank of the Nile at Thebes was the chosen burial place for the pharaohs of the New Kingdom, the golden age of Egyptian power and empire. For nearly 500 years, from Thutmose I to Ramesses XI, kings and powerful nobles carved their houses of eternity deep into the limestone cliffs, hoping to protect their mummies and fabulous treasures from tomb robbers. The valley is synonymous with the 1922 discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, a find so spectacular it has overshadowed everything else in this sacred landscape. But the Valley of the Kings is not just the story of one boy king. It is a royal necropolis containing at least 65 known tombs, and many more are likely waiting to be found. These tombs belong to some of the greatest pharaohs in history, like the great warrior Thutmose III, the magnificent Amenhotep III, and the prolific builder Ramesses the Great. Though their tombs were all plundered in antiquity, they remain breathtaking works of art and theology. Their long corridors and burial chambers are covered with vibrant paintings and intricate texts from the Book of the Dead and other funerary compositions, forming a complete guide to the underworld, a machine for the king's resurrection. Beyond these famous pharaohs, the valley also holds the tombs of lesser-known rulers, whose stories are often lost in the glare of their more illustrious relatives. The tomb of the female pharaoh Tawosret, who ruled at the chaotic end of the 19th dynasty, is a fascinating example. Her tomb was later usurped and expanded by her successor, Setnekhti, creating a unique two-part tomb that tells a story of political turmoil and appropriation. Similarly, the tombs of short-reigned kings, like Ramesses IV or Siptah, while smaller and less grand, provide crucial information about the decline of the New Kingdom and the struggles for succession that plagued its final decades. Furthermore, the valley was not reserved exclusively for kings. Powerful queens, royal children, and even a select few high-ranking nobles were granted the honor of a burial in this sacred place. The tomb of Yuya and Chuyu, the parents of Queen Tiye and grandparents of Akhenaten, was discovered almost intact in 1905, yielding a treasure trove of perfectly preserved funerary equipment that rivals Tutankhamun's in quality, if not in quantity. The Valley of the Kings is a rich and complex site, and to truly understand it, we must look beyond the golden mask of Tutankhamun and explore the forgotten tombs that tell the wider story of Egypt's most glorious age. Within the Valley of the Kings, one tomb stands out for its sheer scale and for the mystery it represents. KV5. For decades, its entrance was buried under flood debris, and it was dismissed as an insignificant minor tomb. That all changed in the 1990s when archaeologist Kent Weeks and his team began to re-clear the entrance. What they uncovered was not a small tomb, but the largest and most complex tomb ever found in the valley. A sprawling subterranean complex with over 120 known corridors and chambers, and counting. This was not the tomb of a single pharaoh, but a massive family mausoleum built by Ramesses the Great for his many, many sons. Ramesses II, who reigned for an astonishing 67 years, was a legendary father, siring over 100 children with his numerous wives. He outlived many of his eldest sons, who were destined to be his heirs, but never made it to the throne. Ramesses, a devoted father, decided to create a unique, eternal resting place for them, right across the path from his own tomb. KV5 was designed as a dynastic statement, a place where his beloved sons could rest together for eternity. The main hall of the tomb is a huge 16-pillared chamber from which corridors branch out in every direction, leading to dozens of smaller chambers and suites. The tomb's decoration, though badly damaged by centuries of flash floods that wash through the valley, still reveals its original purpose. Wall paintings depict Ramesses presenting his sons to the gods, and the names of several of his firstborn sons, such as Amenhotep and Ramesses Jr., are inscribed on the walls. The sheer size of the tomb is staggering, and its full extent is still unknown as excavations continue to reveal new passages and rooms. Archaeologists have found thousands of pottery shards, fragments of canopic jars, and the scattered, disarticulated bones of several individuals, confirming its use as a communal burial place for the princes of the Ramesside court. The rediscovery and excavation of KV5 has been a monumental undertaking, revealing a completely new type of tomb in the valley. It shines a spotlight on the sons of Ramesses the Great, figures who were previously known only from lists on temple walls, but are now given a tangible, physical connection to history. It speaks to Ramesses' deep sense of family and dynastic pride, and his desire to keep his sons close to him even in death. KV5 is a poignant reminder that even within the most famous cemetery on Earth, enormous secrets can lie hidden just beneath the surface, waiting for the patient work of archaeologists to bring them back into the story of ancient Egypt. Egypt's sands still hide countless secrets. For every tomb discovered, many more remain lost beneath the desert and Nile Delta. Modern technology, ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, guides archaeologists in their search for lost pharaohs, queens, and treasures. Each new excavation could reveal a forgotten king, a missing chapter of history, or treasures that reshape our understanding of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt was a deeply patriarchal society, ruled by male pharaohs as earthly Horus. Yet woven into its history are women who broke convention, wielding immense power, even claiming the title of pharaoh. Queens like Hatshepsut and Sobekneferu challenged tradition, ruling Egypt in their own right. Their reigns reveal a more complex reality, showing that, under the right circumstances, a woman could indeed become king. At the dawn of Egyptian history, Merneith's name appears among the earliest kings. Her monumental tomb at Abydos rivals those of male rulers, and her name is found on royal seals and king lists. Was she a regent for her son, King Den, or Egypt's first female king? Whatever her title, Merneith stands as a trailblazer at the very beginning of the pharaonic age. The Middle Kingdom's 12th dynasty is famed for its powerful pharaohs, but true dynastic power often lay with royal women. Queens and kings' mothers were landowners, priestesses, and the key to royal legitimacy. Their influence is seen in their spectacular tombs and exquisite jewelry. For 2 centuries, these women were the essential stabilizing force, culminating in a queen who became king. Sobekneferu, the last ruler of Egypt's 12th dynasty, broke tradition to become the first woman documented as pharaoh, daughter of Amenemhat III. She claimed the full royal titular and associated herself with the crocodile god Sobek. Her reign was brief but significant, blending male and female imagery to legitimize her rule. With her death, a golden age ended, but her legacy as a pioneer endures. Nearly 350 years after Sobeknefru, Hatshepsut boldly declared herself pharaoh. Daughter of Thutmose I, she first ruled as regent for her young stepson, Thutmose III. But Hatshepsut's ambition led her to become king in her own right, adopting the full regalia and iconography of kingship. Her reign brought Egypt prosperity, stability, and artistic brilliance, proving a woman could rule as king and excel. Hatshepsut faced a unique challenge. How could a woman rule as pharaoh, a role defined by masculinity for centuries? Her answer was ingenious. She used propaganda and divine birth stories, inscribed on temple walls, to legitimize her reign. By blending claims of both divine and royal appointment, Hatshepsut redefined kingship, ruling for over 20 years and proving that ideology could be reshaped by a determined leader. Few pharaohs left a mark like Hatshepsut. Her reign was defined by breathtaking monuments, not war. Her crowning achievement, the temple at Deir el-Bahri, rises in harmony with the cliffs, its walls telling stories of divine birth and epic journeys. Her obelisks at Karnak still stand, a testament to her ambition. Hatshepsut's legacy endures, carved forever in stone. Of all the queens of Egypt, none is more famous for her beauty than Nefertiti. Her painted limestone bust, discovered in 1912 and now in Berlin, has become a global icon of feminine grace and power. Nefertiti was the great royal wife of the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, who radically transformed Egyptian religion, abandoning the traditional pantheon of gods in favor of the worship of a single deity, the Aten, or the disk of the sun. Nefertiti was not just a beautiful consort who stood silently by her husband's side. She was a central figure in this religious revolution, a co-ruler who wielded an unprecedented amount of power for a queen. Throughout the early years of Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti is depicted with a prominence no queen before her had ever enjoyed. In temple reliefs, she is shown in a scale equal to her husband, a clear indicator of her elevated status. She is depicted performing religious rituals that were traditionally the sole preserve of the king, even smiting the enemies of Egypt, the ultimate pharaonic pose. She and Akhenaten were portrayed as the sole intermediaries between humanity and the Aten. Prayers were directed not just to the Aten, but to the royal couple. They were a divine pair, the father and mother of all humankind, and Nefertiti was an essential half of this new theology. Around year 12 of Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti's story becomes shrouded in mystery. She largely disappears from the official record, and her place beside the king is taken by one of her daughters. For many years, it was assumed that she had either died or fallen from grace. However, a more tantalizing theory has gained traction among some Egyptologists. This theory suggests that Nefertiti did not disappear, but instead transformed. It posits that she adopted a new name, Neferneferuaten, and was elevated by Akhenaten to become his official co-regent, a junior pharaoh ruling alongside him, similar to the arrangement between Hatshepsut and Thutmose III. This theory takes an even more radical turn after Akhenaten's death. The historical record shows that a mysterious pharaoh named Neferneferuaten ruled Egypt for a short time before the accession of Tutankhamun. Could this have been Nefertiti, ruling alone as a female king? The evidence is circumstantial but intriguing. Some depictions of this pharaoh show feminine attributes beneath the kingly regalia, and the name Neferneferuaten was one that Nefertiti had used as part of her full queenly titles. If this theory is correct, Nefertiti would be another of Egypt's powerful female pharaohs, a woman who went from queen to goddess to, finally, king of all Egypt. Her ultimate fate remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the Amarna period. As the new kingdom faded, Egypt was torn by instability. In this chaos, Tanisret, once great royal wife of Seti II, rose to power. She ruled first as regent for the young, ailing Siptah, then seized the throne herself. Tanisret became the last female pharaoh of the new kingdom, fighting to hold Egypt together. But her reign was short and contested, ending in civil strife and her erasure by Setnakta, founder of a new dynasty. The stories of Merneith, Sobekneferu, Hatshepsut, and Tanisret are more than just historical curiosities. They are vital chapters in the long and complex history of ancient Egypt that challenge our preconceived notions of gender and power in the ancient world. These women and others like them demonstrate that while the ideal of kingship was masculine, the reality was often far more flexible. They show that through a combination of impeccable bloodline, political acumen, immense ambition, and opportune circumstances, women could and did rise to the pinnacle of power, ruling one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. Each woman navigated the constraints of her time in a unique way, crafting an image of power that suited her specific situation. Their legacies, however, have often been obscured or deliberately erased. Later generations, particularly those seeking to establish their own legitimacy, often found the idea of a female pharaoh problematic. Thutmose III's attempt to remove Hatshepsut from the historical record and Setnak's usurpation of Tanisret's tomb were acts of political vandalism, designed to smooth over these unnatural interruptions to the patriarchal line of succession. For centuries, these erasures were successful, and the reigns of these powerful women were largely forgotten, relegated to footnotes and scholarly debates. They became phantoms in a history written by and for men. It is only through the patient work of modern archaeology and Egyptology that their stories have been painstakingly recovered. The excavation of their tombs, the decipherment of their inscriptions, and the re-examination of their monuments have allowed us to piece together the narratives of their lives and reigns. We can now appreciate the cleverness of Sobekneferu's hybrid iconography, the brilliance of Hatshepsut's propaganda, and the sheer tenacity of Tanisret's struggle for power. We are rediscovering not just a few forgotten queens, but a fundamental and recurring aspect of Egyptian political life that has been ignored for too long. These women who ruled are a powerful reminder that history is never as simple as it seems. They force us to look beyond the traditional king lists and the grand monuments of male pharaohs to find a more nuanced and accurate picture of the past. They reveal a society that, while patriarchal, was also pragmatic enough to allow women to take control when circumstances demanded it. The enduring power of Egypt's forgotten queens lies not just in the fact that they ruled, but in their ability to speak to us across millennia. Their stories, once silenced, now finally being heard, enriching and deepening our understanding of the incredible world of the pharaohs. The New Kingdom represents the zenith of pharaonic power, an age of unprecedented wealth, military might, and imperial expansion. After driving out the Hyksos invaders, a series of warrior pharaohs from Thebes forged an empire that stretched from Nubia in the south to the Euphrates River in the north. This was the era of legendary rulers like Thutmose III, the Napoleon of Egypt, Amenhotep III the Magnificent, who presided over a court of dazzling opulence, and Ramesses the Great, the master builder and propagandist. They commanded vast armies, controlled lucrative trade routes, and received tribute from vassal states, filling the coffers of Egypt with unimaginable quantities of gold, silver, and exotic goods. This was Egypt at its most glorious, a superpower on the world stage. But beneath this glittering surface of power and prosperity, the New Kingdom was a labyrinth of secrets, conspiracies, and hidden connections. The royal court at Thebes and later at Amarna and Ramesses was a hotbed of intrigue. The immense wealth of the empire created intense competition among the elite, while the sprawling royal family with its multiple wives and dozens of children was a breeding ground for succession disputes and rivalries. The very success of the empire brought new challenges, as Egypt became increasingly entangled in the complex geopolitics of the Near East, facing new enemies and absorbing new cultures and ideas that would both enrich and challenge its ancient traditions. This act of our journey delves into these mysteries. We will move beyond the triumphant battle reliefs and grand temple inscriptions to uncover the untold stories that played out in the shadows of the throne. We will investigate how modern science, particularly the study of ancient DNA, is untangling the complex and often incestuous relationships of the royal family, solving decades-old questions about the parentage of famous pharaohs like Tutankhamun. We will explore the evidence for palace conspiracies, including the shocking plot to assassinate a reigning pharaoh, and examine the profound impact of foreign cultures on the very heart of the Egyptian state, leading to pharaohs of Libyan and Nubian descent taking the throne. Our investigation will take us from secret caches of royal mummies hidden to protect them from tomb robbers to the enigmatic burials of the Amarna period, which continue to defy easy explanation. We will explore the profound mysteries surrounding the end of this glorious age, a time when a mysterious confederation of invaders, known as the Sea Peoples, swept through the Mediterranean, bringing mighty empires to their knees and changing the course of history forever. The New Kingdom was an age of giants, but it was also an age of secrets, and it is in these hidden stories that we can find a deeper and more human understanding of Egypt's golden empire. For centuries, the fate of Egypt's pharaohs was a mystery. Their tombs in the Valley of the Kings were plundered, their bodies thought lost forever. But in 1881, a hidden tomb near Deir el-Bahri was discovered, packed with royal mummies, Ramesses the Great, Thutmose III and more, rescued by priests from tomb robbers. This astonishing find reunited Egypt with its legendary kings. Egypt's royal tombs have yielded many wonders, but some of the most famous pharaohs remain missing. Hatshepsut, Akhenaten, and Nefertiti's final resting places are still a mystery. Modern science, from CT scans to DNA analysis, is helping to solve these ancient cold cases. The search for lost mummies continues, promising new discoveries beneath Egypt's sands. No period of the New Kingdom is more mysterious or controversial than the reign of Akhenaten. This enigmatic pharaoh instigated a religious revolution that shook Egypt to its core. He abandoned the worship of Amun-Ra and the entire traditional pantheon of gods, promoting a single universal deity, the Aten, represented as the physical disk of the sun. He moved the capital from Thebes to a virgin site in the middle of the desert, a new city he named Akhetaten, the horizon of the Aten, known today as Amarna. This was not just a religious shift, it was a complete cultural, artistic and political upheaval, a radical experiment that isolated Egypt and baffled its people. The art of the Amarna period is as revolutionary as its religion. It broke completely with the idealized, serene conventions of traditional Egyptian art. The royal family was depicted with an almost shocking naturalism, bordering on caricature. Akhenaten himself is shown with a drooping jaw, thick lips, a potbelly and wide hips. A strange androgynous physique that has led to endless medical speculation. His wife Nefertiti and their 6 daughters are also shown with elongated skulls and slender limbs. The art focuses obsessively on the intimate life of the royal family, showing them kissing their daughters, mourning a death, or basking in the life-giving rays of the Aten, which end in little hands offering them the sign of life. This intense focus on the royal family was central to the new religion. Akhenaten and Nefertiti were not just the chief priests of the Aten, They were the sole intermediaries between the god and humanity. They were a divine triad, the holy family through which all worship had to be channeled. This made the dynamics of their family not just a private matter, but an issue of state theology. The relationships between Akhenaten, Nefertiti, his other wives and his children were intrinsically linked to the new world order he was trying to create. This makes understanding their family tree, with its complex web of incestuous relationships, absolutely crucial to understanding the Amarna period itself. The revolution, however, did not last. It seems to have been an elite affair, imposed from the top down and never fully embraced by the general populace. After Akhenaten's death, his new city was abandoned, his temples were dismantled, and his new religion was rejected. His successors, beginning with the young Tutankhamun, initiated a systematic return to the old gods and the traditional ways. Akhenaten's name was hacked from monuments, and he was vilified in later texts as the enemy or that criminal. His grand experiment had failed, leaving behind a host of mysteries about his family, his motivations, and the true nature of his religious vision. Mysteries that scientists are only now beginning to unravel. For nearly a century after its discovery, the tomb of Tutankhamun raised more questions than it answered. His dazzling treasures told us how a king was buried, but they revealed little about who he actually was. His parentage was a major puzzle. Was he the son of the magnificent Amenhotep III, or was he the son of the heretic king, Akhenaten? The answer to this question was key to understanding the chaotic transition out of the Amarna period. For decades, scholars debated the evidence from inscriptions and art, but the mystery remained unsolved. The key to unlocking this family secret lay hidden within the very cells of the boy king himself. In 2010, a groundbreaking study was published that changed everything. A team of scientists, led by the renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass, conducted a detailed DNA analysis and CT scanning project on the mummy of Tutankhamun and 10 other royal mummies thought to be members of his family. By carefully extracting and sequencing fragments of ancient DNA from the mummy's bones, they were able to establish clear genetic relationships between them. It was a monumental undertaking, fraught with the technical challenges of working with highly degraded 3,000-year-old genetic material, but the results were astonishingly clear and decisive. The DNA evidence proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Tutankhamun's father was the mummy from the mysterious tomb KV55, a man who was himself genetically identified as the son of Amenhotep III and Queen Taye. This strongly confirms that the KV55 mummy is indeed Akhenaten. The study also identified Tutankhamun's mother. She was a mummy known as the Younger Lady, found in the KV35 cache. Most shockingly, the DNA showed that the Younger Lady was not only the daughter of Amenhotep III and Queen Taye, but also a full sister to the KV55 mummy, Akhenaten. This meant that Tutankhamun was the product of an incestuous union between a brother and a sister, a practice not uncommon in the Egyptian royal family to preserve the purity of the divine bloodline. This scientific breakthrough solved one of the greatest mysteries of the New Kingdom, providing a definitive family tree for Tutankhamun. It confirmed his direct link to the Amarna heresy and explained the political necessity of his reign, which was dedicated to restoring the old order his father had overturned. The study also revealed that Tutankhamun suffered from several genetic ailments, including a clubfoot and Kohler's disease, a rare bone disorder, likely exacerbated by his incestuous parentage. The DNA evidence painted a tragic picture of a frail young king, burdened by genetic maladies, who was the last male heir of a glorious but troubled dynasty. In 1907, a mysterious tomb, KV55, was found in the Valley of the Kings. Inside lay a desecrated royal coffin, its name hacked out, the mummy's identity lost to time. DNA evidence now reveals the mummy is almost certainly Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh and father of Tutankhamun. KV-55 stands as a testament to a king's radical legacy and the vengeance that followed. The New Kingdom was an age of empire, and with empire came an unprecedented level of interaction with foreign peoples and cultures. Egypt's imperial reach brought it into contact with Nubians, Libyans, and the great civilizations of the Near East. While official propaganda often depicted foreigners as chaotic enemies to be trampled under the pharaoh's sandals, the reality was far more complex and cosmopolitan. Foreigners came to Egypt not just as prisoners of war, but as skilled mercenaries, talented artisans, merchants, and diplomats. They settled in Egypt, adopted Egyptian customs, and rose to positions of great power and influence, even within the sacred institution of the pharaoh's court. This cultural mixing is particularly evident in the late New Kingdom. The Ramesside pharaohs increasingly relied on foreign mercenaries, especially Libyans, to staff their armies. These Libyan soldiers and their leaders settled in Egypt, particularly in the Nile Delta, and were granted land in return for their service. Over generations, they became a powerful, militarized aristocracy. They adopted Egyptian names and worshipped Egyptian gods, but they maintained their distinct Libyan cultural identity, their tribal social structures, and their unique feathered costumes. As the central authority of the last Ramesside kings weakened, the power of these Libyan military commanders grew until they were the de facto rulers of the north. The inevitable result of this process came at the beginning of the Third Intermediate Period, when a powerful Libyan military leader from Heracleopolis, named Shoshenq I, seized the throne of Egypt. He established the 22nd Dynasty, a line of pharaohs of Libyan descent who would rule Egypt for over 2 centuries. This was not a foreign invasion in the traditional sense, but the culmination of a long process of integration and assimilation. Shoshenq I and his successors ruled as traditional Egyptian pharaohs. They built temples, honored the Egyptian gods, and were buried in the royal necropolis at Tanis. They were foreigners who had become Egyptian, a testament to the remarkable absorptive power of Egyptian culture. This pattern would repeat itself. Later, as the Libyan dynasties weakened, power shifted south to the kingdom of Kush in Nubia. The powerful Kushite kings, who saw themselves as the true heirs of New Kingdom traditions, swept north and conquered Egypt, establishing the 25th dynasty. These black pharaohs ruled as devout and traditional Egyptian kings, seeking to restore the past glory of the empire. The presence of these foreign pharaohs, Libyans and Nubians, on the throne of Egypt is not a sign of decline, but rather a fascinating chapter in the story of cultural exchange. A mystery of identity that demonstrates the New Kingdom's complex legacy as a truly international, multicultural empire. The life of a pharaoh was one of power and peril. The infamous harem conspiracy saw Queen Tai plot to kill Ramesses III, hoping her son Pentawa would take the throne. Ancient papyri record the trials and grim fates of the conspirators, but for centuries the king's death remained a mystery. Modern CT scans revealed Ramesses III's throat was slit, proof the conspiracy succeeded, and a royal murder was finally uncovered. The reign of Ramesses III was defined not just by the conspiracy that ended his life, but by a desperate, existential struggle against a mysterious and formidable enemy. At the end of the Late Bronze Age, around 1200 BCE, the Eastern Mediterranean world was plunged into chaos. Great cities were burned, trade routes were severed, and mighty empires collapsed. This period of widespread destruction is associated with the movements of a mysterious confederation of maritime raiders and migrants known collectively as the Sea Peoples. Their precise origins are one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient history, but they appear to have come from the Aegean, Anatolia, and the central Mediterranean, driven from their homelands by famine, drought, or political upheaval. These groups, with exotic names like the Peliset, the Chequer, the Sherdan, and the Denian, swept down the coast of the Levant, leaving a trail of destruction. The great Hittite Empire in Anatolia was annihilated. Prosperous trading cities like Ugarit were burned to the ground, never to be rebuilt. The Sea Peoples were a diverse coalition, a migratory wave of warriors, families, and ships that overwhelmed the established powers of the age. Egypt was their final target. They launched a coordinated land and sea invasion, aiming to conquer the rich lands of the Nile Delta and settle there, just as the Hyksos had done centuries before. Ramesses III met this threat head-on in a series of decisive battles, which he commemorated in dramatic reliefs on the walls of his mortuary temple at Medinet Habu. These reliefs are our primary source of information about the Sea Peoples, depicting them with their distinctive feathered headdresses and horned helmets. The inscriptions describe a great naval battle fought at the mouth of the Nile, where Egyptian marines ambushed the Sea Peoples' fleet, using grappling hooks to pull their ships close and overwhelming them with volleys of arrows. Ramesses III claims a total victory, boasting that he had annihilated the invaders and made them non-existent. While Ramesses III successfully repelled the invasion and saved Egypt from collapse, the victory came at a tremendous cost. The war exhausted the Egyptian treasury and weakened the military. Egypt lost its empire in the Levant, its sphere of influence shrinking back to its own borders. Though Egypt survived, the world around it had been irrevocably changed. The Peliset, one of the Sea Peoples' tribes, settled on the coast of Canaan and became the biblical Philistines, giving their name to the land of Palestine. The invasion of the Sea Peoples was the closing act of the Late Bronze Age, a cataclysmic event that ended the age of international empires and ushered in a new, more fragmented era. The New Kingdom had survived, but its golden age was over. Our journey through Egypt's sands has taken us beyond the iconic pyramids into hidden valleys and forgotten tombs. We traced the rise of kingship, uncovered lost queens, and witnessed dynasties rise and fall. From the treasures of the Silver Pharaoh to the legacies of Hatshepsut and Nefertiti, Egypt's story is a tapestry woven from both golden triumphs and shadowed mysteries, where every thread, seen or unseen, shapes the legacy of this ancient land. The stories of Egypt's hidden pharaohs and untold dynasties resonate powerfully today. They reveal timeless struggles for identity, leadership, and survival. Through new discoveries and technology, history is constantly rewritten. Egypt's past mirrors our own challenges and hopes, reminding us that the echoes of eternity still shape our modern world. Our journey through Egypt's past is only a beginning. The desert sands still hold secrets, and new discoveries await beneath the surface. Today, anyone can join this quest through museums, documentaries, or online exploration. Which hidden pharaoh or untold story captured your imagination? The past lives on when we remember and share it. Thank you for joining us on this adventure into the Egypt you never knew. Like, subscribe, and comment your favorites.